Alright, what is going on, everybody? This is Market Monkey Trades here. I'm going to go over my $404 supply and demand trade I took today. It's going to be a really insightful video, so make sure you stay all the way to the end. Before we jump into the video, just want to go over marketmonkeytrades.com. You can get my course there and other very powerful knowledge for the stock market. Also, Market Monkey LLC is my Instagram. I post my trades, my entries, my exits, my thought process behind it, and I do it all live for you guys so you can catch the trade with me. So it's definitely something you want to check out. So SPY recently formed this demand zone. What is this? This is on Tuesday, and what I was looking for is if this demand zone could hold. We hit it yesterday and it was holding it, but overnight it clearly broke through it. So that was definitely a bearish indicator, and one of my main rules is trade the direction of the market. So what is the market telling us here? It's telling us that there's a buy and sell imbalance, and that the bears are stepping in, and there's more sell orders coming in. Okay, so if we also look at the S&P 500 on the daily, let's look at this. Let's look at the trend. What's the trend of this market for the past 3 weeks? Sell-off. Let's trade the direction of the market. Why would you try to go long in a market like this? I mean, we're at a demand zone that turned into supply. We're below all the SMAs. We're below VWAP. We're below key levels and resistance. What would be the reason to take this market long? That's what retail traders would do. They would take this market long because, oh, look, the market dipped. This is a good buy opportunity. That's not how it works. You're going to get washed and you're going to blow up your account. So what I was looking for was obviously to take a trade with this market to the downside. I knew if SPY couldn't hold this demand zone, it was going to be looking very likely that that was going to be the case. Demand zones that can't hold key levels generally will turn into supply zones and have good put opportunities. So that's what I had here. If I go back to my chart, demand zones that can't hold the demand and isn't forming demand within the demand zone, then it's going to have a good put opportunity. Obviously, guys, this isn't true without price action, volume, market context, what I wrote right here. But also on the flip side of this, supply zones that can't hold key levels generally will turn into good demand zones and have good call opportunities. So like up here, once you rip through a supply zone, you normally see great continuation and have the supply zone turn into demand. So let me minimize this and show you guys what I was looking at and what I look at every day. So people need to understand these zones are just levels of interest. I'm not going to take a trade at a zone just blindly because we're at zones. I'm going to take a trade at a zone when all indicators are lining up and telling me that this trade is going to be valid. So what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is I'm always going to be looking at Microsoft and Apple, which is SPY, which is /ES. That's SPY's biggest holdings, Microsoft and Apple. Their moves is what's going to move the market. Same thing with NASDAQ. NASDAQ has a big reaction, so does the market. Okay? So everything follows each other. Alright? Now, what's really powerful that most people won't tell you, and they won't share it with you on YouTube, is that if you're tracking Microsoft and Apple to trade SPY/ES, then it's very helpful to look at the key levels on Microsoft and Apple. So we had this demand zone I drew in on Microsoft. We had this demand zone I drew in on Apple. That's this green box. Now, Apple opened in this demand zone. Microsoft also opened in its demand zone. So I knew if Microsoft and Apple flush out of this demand zone, which will then turn into supply, that means that this demand zone that we're flushing out of in SPY, that when I take that short, that's gonna work out in my favor, because we not only have Microsoft flushing out of its demand zone, but we also have Apple flushing out of its demand zone. So that gives me two bearish indicators on top of the indicator of demand turn supply put play that I want to take this market short. Okay? And then we had one last indicator that I was looking at. This 13,583 level for NASDAQ, I wanted to see a rip through that. I really wanted to see 13,600 get ripped through. And then that's when I took my short position. So once NASDAQ was under 600, 13,600, once Apple got out of the demand zone, once Microsoft got out of the demand zone, that's when I knew I was going to take this market short. And I mean, look at this demand zone, so nicely turned into supply right here. It's just a beautiful trade overall. So I think I went short right here and just held this baby all the way down. I sold right around here just because I didn't want to hold on to my position all day. I wanted to take my profits and get out. But obviously I knew that this market was probably going to continue in this direction because you want to trade the direction of the market. What is the direction of the market? It is in a bear trend. It's bearish. It's going to the downside, so there would be no reason for you to really sell. But I wanted to get out of the market. I didn't want to trade all day, so I took my profits, locked in, and made about $400. Another thing people ask me is time frames. What time frames do I use? Supply and demand is all built off of banks, hedge funds, and smart money moving the market. So I'm going to be looking at the time frames that they use, and they use the higher time frames. So that's the same time frame that I'm going to use. It also really helps your emotional state, because if you're looking at the 5-minute and your chart is going crazy, that's going to cause a lot of psychological problems and just make you go down an emotional roller coaster. So when in doubt, zoom out, use bigger time frames. Just remember, all this price action is noise. Wait for your key levels to be hit. Follow your plan. Mitigate your risk and lock in those profits. Alright, so that's going to be it for me today. Make sure you subscribe, because I come out with daily supply and demand live trade recap videos like this. So definitely like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.